welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you like these sort of breakdown videos where we talk about footy, please feel free to subscribe and stick around. But we are doing pretty much every game of the final series. Actually, we're going to do every game of the final series over the next few weeks, over the next few days. Let's just get straight into it because this game, honestly, it was kind of hard to watch. There were skill errors, there were just genuine brain fades, there were poor decision making, there was just a whole lot of not good football going on. Now, obviously, Hawthorn went out to a pretty big lead. GWS came back, and then Hawthorn held on towards the end. So the end was phenomenal. Everyone loves a close game, but for the rest of the game, it was pretty grim to watch. And I think GWS are going to be kicking themselves because they just made some genuinely howling mistakes all game. Now, mistakes and poor decision-making is frustrating, but I think what makes it even more frustrating for GWS is the fact that they proved that they don't have to make these mistakes or make these poor decisions. So we're a minute and a half, 2 minutes into the first quarter of this game, and Toby Green gets the football, bang, doesn't blaze away, doesn't even look towards the goal at this point. He's inside 50, and his first choice, his first decision is to hit up the open man, doesn't blaze away, doesn't kick to where Tom Barris wants him to kick it, bang, hits up Jesse Hogan, they get a good shot on goal. We're 2 minutes in, that's beautiful. The issue is, for a large portion of the rest of the game, GWS went back into their shell and they just started kicking long and long and long. Now, in this first quarter, they dominated possession. For the first 6-7 minutes of this quarter, the ball was played in their front half, almost inside their forward 50. The issue is, they couldn't score because they were doing things like this. So Lockie Ash has the football about 75, maybe 80 metres out from goal. You just cannot kick long in this situation. And the first reason is on the kicker. So the kicker, you can't make the decision to kick long inside forward 50 from this sort of area because you're not going to be able to get enough penetration, but it's also exactly where the Hawthorn defenders want you to kick the football. So firstly, it's on the kicker for making that decision. Secondly, it is on all of these players here. So look at all your midfielders. Look at your half-backs here. Why are you not creating space? You've got to be leading at the football. You've got to drag all of these Hawthorn players out, and if they don't follow you, now you're suddenly getting marks 55, 60 metres out from goal, and you're spreading the Hawthorn defence, you're forcing them to defend. But if you don't move, look at the complete lack of movement from all of the GWS midfielders right here. The only person who moved was Darcy Jones there, and he did a half lead, about 5 metres, and then you just kick long to absolutely no one. And this just happened over and over and over again because they completely dominated field position. So Leclerc here, you are about to get paid a shit ton of money from St Kilda. But again, you've got to be able to hit up these sort of options. You've got to be able to move the football further up the ground before you try and go inside 50. So either you've got to hit up Fonte here, you've got to hit up Cornelio. O'Halloran's got to turn around and provide an option here. So again, one on the kicker. Yeah, he's looking for an option, but then it's on the leaders as well. You've got to hit this kick. That kick has to go to Cornelio. You've got to be able to move the ball forward, because if you kick like this is exactly what Tom Barris wants. This is exactly the sort of kick that the Hawthorn defenders want, because now they have an outnumber at this contest, and it is just the easiest kill over the boundary line of all time. It's poor decision making with poor execution. It means even when you do make a good decision, like GWS does here. So look at Toby Green here. Does a beautiful job to get out of this hardwood tackle. Does a beautiful job to split the 2v1, 3v1 in this situation. Does a beautiful job to not blaze away. So if he blazes away in this situation, the forwards are not in an advantageous situation right here, and he would kick it straight down Josh Battle's throat right here. So that's a beautiful use of the handball, the forward handball right here, straight in front of the GWS player. Now you have the easy option. This is an easy kick for an AFL footballer. You should be able to hit either this or this with absolute ease. But when you mix the poor decision making with poor execution, now you're just asking for the opposition to take over you. Again, GWS do a really good job to get some speed on the football. This is the tsunami. This is what you want as a football team. This is what GWS live on, this fast pace, this tsunami, like this run-off half-back with Lockie Ash, who made some serious mistakes yesterday. But again, you've got to give this handball, because if you don't give this handball, you're putting yourself under pressure. And as soon as you don't give the handball, even if you take this tackler on like he does, you're putting yourself under pressure. And as soon as you put yourself under pressure and you don't give this handball, who Darcy Jones, who's run this whole way with you, now you've got pressure coming from Hardwick on the left side of you, and you just shit it. You just completely shit it. And there's only one place that you couldn't kick it, and it was right there, because Hawthorn had the 2v1 straight away in that position. You just have to give that handball, because if you give the handball to Darcy Jones, who's not under pressure from Hardwick coming from the left, now he has time to either run into an open goal, or he has enough time for his forwards in Jesse Hogan, who's standing in the goal square, trying to reposition. Jesse Hogan has enough time to create a genuine option going inside forward 50. So you just have to make these good decisions, and then you have to be able to execute And then you have to be able to execute these good decisions. And there really was a genuine difference. I think Hawthorn, this is why they were so efficient going inside forward 50 for a large majority of the game. It's because they weren't taking these poor options and they were able to execute their skills properly. So Lockie actually turned the football over here. But look at the work from Newcomb. So one, the defensive act from Newcomb to keep his feet and get the spoil as well. But again, he gets the football and he looks up and he goes, I have time and space, so I can use my decision making, I can use my skill execution, put them both together. And when you don't blaze away, because if he blazes away, look at the GWS spare sitting at the back of this contest. If he does blaze away to the top of the goal square, bang, that is a GWS intercept. Instead, pull the kick to the left and you get a wide open Jack Gunston ready in front of goal. That is beautiful. And it's not like these are super experienced players. We're talking about Hawthorn players who are young, who are playing in some of their first finals. So look at Connor McDonald right here. One of my favourite players to watch, and it's because he does things like this. So in the heat of this battle, in the middle of this contest, look at his ability to get this football. So as soon as Sammy Butler gives him this football, bang, we are talking about surrounded by GWS players right now. So bang, takes on one, takes on two, sees the third, but doesn't put the ball on the boot straight away. Doesn't try and blaze away, even though he's inside 50. He could probably take a shot at goal. We see a lot of players in this situation hat kick it to the top of the goal square. Instead, bang, the really good vision, the really good handball, because if he does hat kick this, Sam Taylor's likely going to come and spoil that over the line, or at worst, we got a one-on-one situation where Jack Gunston doesn't really want to be in a wrestling match at the top of the goal square. Instead, C-Mac with the poise gives the outside handball. As soon as you do that, you give Jack Ginnivan time and space with the football and he can turn around and make a really good decision. That is the difference between GWS and Hawthorn for a large majority of this game. Again here, we're going to see the difference between Hawthorn and GWS for a lot of this game. So as soon as Ginnivan gets his football, feels the pressure, gives the short handball, but again, Nash, the poise to not give out the handball to Massimo because Tom Green is going to go and get that. Toby Bedford off right on his tail right now. Don't put your teammates under pressure. But again, doesn't blaze away, feels the pressure, runs through the pressure, absorbs the pressure, and he turns around, does a full 180. But again, looks up and says, we can't kick to the top of the goal square because we don't have the numbers, we don't have the representation. But bang, if I just take this little short one right here, look at the space that Lloyd Meek has. So if Connor Nash had turned around and bombed that ball to the top of the goal square where he was going to, look at the GWS defenders who were sitting in the hole, ready to take that intercept mark, ready to impact that contest. Instead, take a little bit off the kick, give your Lloyd Meek, give your ruckman Lloyd Meek a chance in the air against two undersized defenders who are out of position because they thought Nash was going to blaze away and go to the top of the goal square. And again, you get a really good shot on goal. That is the difference. GWS would be kicking themselves because we saw that in their comeback, when they're 40 points down, they could do things like this. We saw for a large majority of the game that they were blazing away, but look at this. Doesn't blaze away here when he picks up the football. Agrees to take on the tackler, take on the pressure, get a nice handball out, and then you give Tom Green time and space. And it really comes from Callahan's ability to not blaze away and put the ball on the boot here that opens up the lane for Tom Green and then eventually opens up the lane for Josh Kelly, who played a really good game when he was subbed on to get a genuine shot at goal. But if Callahan just picks that up and puts that on the boot like we saw a lot of GWS players do for a large majority of the game, then you're just kicking straight to the Hawthorn spare. And then gives the ball out to Canelio here. And look at Canelio. Not once did he look to go long and to the top of the square. Always had his eyes going to the left of this forward 50 entrance. Because look, you look up and you have three Hawthorn defenders. And that is what you're trying to avoid. You're trying to avoid the Hawthorn spare. You're trying to avoid where Hawthorn defenders want the football to go. And as soon as you do that, you give your forwards genuine chances to run and jump at the football. And that is where Jesse Hogan is going to beat Tom Barras every single time in a contest. But if you put it on his head like he did for a lot of the game, he's not going to be able to compete. Tom Barras is a really good spoiler of the football, but you can get him on the lead. He's absolutely gettable on the lead. And Jesse Hogan beat him on the lead, I reckon, cold 6, 7, 8 times throughout the game. And they missed him every single time. And I know I'm harking on about the inside 50s, but this was the difference in the game. This genuinely was the difference between, because small margins in finals is what decides these sort of games, and these are the sort of things that you have to get right. These are the sort of things that make the best teams, because Lockie Ashley's had a phenomenal year. Now, I made a video about this on my Instagram last night. I was actually about to go out to dinner, but I had to make the video and I had to post it because I just had to get it out, because this is what kills you as a team. This is what kills you as a fan, because you do all the hard work, Lockie Ashley. You've run from deep inside of your defensive 50 and you're about to take 3 running bounces essentially all the way up the wing, but you can do all of the hard work, but if you make the wrong decision and you don't execute the right decision, you get into situations like this where Lockie Ash has taken 3, maybe 4 bounces running up the wing. But again, he looks up and he has all of the time in the world to make the right decision and execute the right skill. But as soon as he kicks it, look at where this ball goes. So Jake Stringer has led up at the football, doesn't go. Look to the left where Jesse Hogan and your other 2 GWS forwards have led out to the left side of the inside 50 because they are trying to get away from the spare. Instead, you've just kicked it to absolutely no one. Jesse Hogan is now trying to get back because he's let up, and now he's just trying to get back and provide a contest. The same with Jake Stringer, and you're just not going to get there because you kick straight to where the Hawthorn players, the Hawthorn defenders want it. And Jesse Hogan and Jake Stringer visibly upset, rightfully upset, because that is what costs you. That is what costs you games. And Hawthorn, they held on beautifully there. GWS, that is just another wasted final because of just some silly, poor decision making, some poor execution, and that, as a GWS fan, if you're out there, which there's not that many of them, but if there are out there, that is heartbreaking. But if you like these sort of videos, please feel free to stick around, subscribe, and I will see you next time, which will probably be tomorrow. Cheers.